KUAM News headlines are presented by Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust. Serving Micronesia since 1938, Matson celebrating 25 years of commitment to Guam, Micronesia, and the CNMI. Cars Plus, Guam's leader in sustainability and electric vehicles. Learn more at carsplusguam.com. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it, and King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Ahead on KUAM News Primetime, defendant Nicholas Moore back in local court, his trial again hitting a major roadblock. Defense attorneys now calling for a mistrial or a plea deal. Plus, an historic moment for leadership in the Northern Marianas. Our Tomas Mangloña sits down with the first woman to be president of the Senate. And move over Christmas. Agricultural officials begin carving up those old pine trees, turning it into mulch. Metsuki Riyama with the story, getting rid of green waste in an eco-friendly way. Hafidin, good evening. I'm Nick Delgado. Welcome to Primetime. He is confident that he did not commit any crime. Defendant Nicholas Wayne Moore back in Superior Court today after a rather lengthy pause in his drive-by shooting trial. The case unfolding after a shooting in Agani Heights that sent another man to the hospital in 2020. Moore again wants the case tossed following multiple delays, but prosecutors could be heading toward cutting a deal with him in the coming days. With a smile on his face, drive-by shooting defendant Nicholas Wayne Moore watched as the jury was excused from the courtroom indefinitely.
He's upbeat and he's always been confident.
Confident that he's not guilty?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you guys have seen his behavior. And he's very confident that he's not guilty, and he's been adamant about that from the beginning.
The trial back in Judge Alberto Tolentino's courtroom today after being paused for weeks. The judge, however, is out for health reasons, causing yet another delay. Defense attorney Mike Phillips making another request for a mistrial.
And it seems to me he's anxious to get it over with, too.
Prosecuting attorney Sean Brown and Phillips agree no one is at fault for the delays, adding they are slowly losing alternate jurors.
It's a culmination. All of you guys have followed this case. There's no single addendum. There's no single person. We're definitely not pointing at the court or anything. It's really nothing more than it's happened. After all this time, it just wouldn't be right to expect jurors to make an intelligent, informed decision.
Parties now mulling over a potential plea agreement. Do you think that your client will take the deal?
Well, we don't have anything official yet. And so what we're faced with is returning to court with the jury.
The case is back before Judge Arthur Barcenas, who is temporarily overseeing trial, on January 23rd. That's when Moore will find out what happens next. For now, he remains held in the Department of Corrections prison, waiting for this case to end and for his murder case to begin. An Asan family is left picking up the pieces 3 days after a portion of their home went up in flames. The family of 4 thankfully making it out alive. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case for 5 pets who were also members of the family. Destiny Cruz joins us with the story.
The Asan family still reeling from this devastating loss. Walter Perry tells KUAM he and his wife woke up early Saturday morning to the unexpected. Their home of 21 years was on fire. They tried to put it out themselves, but the flames were moving fast. Firefighters from the Guam Fire Department were called and did extinguish it. By then, an entire bedroom and majority of the rest of their home was destroyed. What's even more heartbreaking, their 2 Maltese and 3 Boonie dogs did not make it out. Perry saying they were like family. Now the family is on a journey to recovery with the island community by their side. We spoke with Red Cross Guam CEO Cheetah Blaze and Ambrose Constantino, Red Cross Guam Disaster Program Manager, about the assistance.
We provided assistance, whether if it's a comfort kits, whether it's cleanup kits, and then also some sort of financial assistance that we wanted to make sure that she got.
We refer them to Salvation Army, to Catholic Social Services, because those organizations are also able to provide some form of assistance to the victims.
The cause of the fire is under investigation. Now Blaze says the Red Cross plans to work with other nonprofits to help out. The Asan Mayor's office also stepped in and has taken donations. The Perrys also thank the community for their support. We offer our condolences for the loss of their furry loved ones. Destiny Cruz, KUAM News.
Out of the District Court of KUAM, convicted drug smuggler Shelly Levine Dejapa could be heading back to prison earlier than expected. The U.S. Probation Office alleges Dejapa tested positive for using methamphetamine and contacted a man that she was ordered not to. Dejapa recently got 15 months jail time for her involvement in trying to bring 28 grams of meth from California to Guam and selling the drugs here. She's waiting for the U.S. Bureau of Prison to designate a facility where she was to self-surrender. No word yet when Dejapa will appear in court to answer to the alleged drug use. However, the Chief Judge, Francis Dinko Gatewood, today issuing a warrant for her to show up in court. No deal. The plea offer was taken back for one of the boat drivers accused of illegally dropping off Chinese nationals from Guam to the CNMI. 50-year-old Ru Gang Lee appeared before presiding Judge Alberto Lamarena in Superior Court today. It was said in court no new offer was given and that prosecutors are ready to take the case to trial. Lee is scheduled back in court February 7th. Court documents state 9 nationals paid him $22,000 to bring them to Guam before the group were caught at Gun Beach in July. Well, the Guam Visitors Bureau was all set to elect new members to the board of directors, but they weren't able to muster a quorum. The 4 new nominees were identified, though. They are Paula Monk of United Airlines, Bill Nault of Naltec Guam, Carlos Taitano of the University of Guam, and Rachel Tan of TFS Guam. Members were also supposed to vote on new bylaws today, but that was also postponed. Here's GVB's Vice President Jerry Paris.
I'm sorry to the nominees who are here today, but it would be inappropriate for us to proceed with an election without really the required quorum. It would be just opening ourselves to issues that we don't want to deal with. And as you all know, we are just going through the process now of harmonizing our bylaws with statute.
The bylaws were called into question back in March by GVB President CEO Carl Gutierrez. He charged certain board members had conflicts of interest since they act on matters directly affecting their businesses. That's when management commissioned an independent review of the board bylaws to determine if they were consistent with statute. The current directors decided not to meet again until the review was completed and any amendments to the bylaws were adopted. United Airlines has more than 1,800 job openings in Denver, Colorado, and will be hosting a job fair right here in Guam next week. The 2-day career fair will be on January 17th and 18th at the Hyatt Regency Guam from 9 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon. No appointment is necessary and walk-ins are encouraged. The openings are across various departments, including ramp services, aircraft technicians, facilities maintenance technicians, and storekeepers. The airline also offering a $25,000 relocation incentive for Guam residents who are hired and make a 1-year commitment. United's Managing Director of Airport Operations Asia Pacific, Sam Shinohara, says it's an ideal time to join United, which last month announced the largest ever wide-body aircraft order by a U.S. carrier. We'll have more news on the other side of the break. Keep it here. You're watching KUAM.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
Honey, do you want some milk?
Do you ever wonder how your favorite products make their way into your local stores? Most arrive on state-of-the-art Matson vessels that transport containers of food, household items, equipment, and supplies into the islands every week. Because we know that you depend on us, we work closely with our partners to ensure that our shipments arrive on time, all the time, so you can find your favorite products when you need them. We transport the region's most precious cargo that supports successful businesses and promotes a better quality of life for our families. Matson is proud to have been the hometown shipping carrier for Guam, the CNMI, and Micronesia for the past 25 years, and you can count on us to be here for generations to come.
Fast, fun, and easy. That's how your home Wi-Fi should be. So start with an internet plan that fits your budget. Introducing your home Wi-Fi starter pack, also known as WISP. Enjoy up to 25 megabits per second for as low as $35 a month, plus a free router with your wireless subscription. That's hours of movies, games, social media, and more endless fun. Get your Wi-Fi starter pack today only at Docomo Pacific. Better together. Additional conditions may apply.
Jack, the data shows that people love our more flavorful ultimate cheeseburgers.
Show me the data. So the data's good.
The data's real good.
Well, actually, it's the best data I've ever had.
My best-selling ultimate cheeseburgers, now seasoned as they grill.
What you need to know from the Northern Marianas. Follow KUAM CNMI on Instagram for the latest regional headlines.
Welcome back to KUAM. Saipan Senator Edith De Leon Guerrero making history as the first woman to be president of the Senate in the Northern Marianas. She sits down with regional correspondent Tomas Manglotnia. Here's more.
You made history as the first Madam Senate President.
The passing of the gavel marking the historic moment Monday as senators took their oath.
It's time for women to make a difference.
De Leon Guerrero, a Democrat, is also the niece of the island's first Senate President, Larry De Leon Guerrero. Her photo will be added to the wall of photos made up of men who led the Senate.
It's a new beginning that we can no longer bring in into the legislative halls political factions while we address the people's interests. We need to put that aside. Politics is over.
The former Labor Secretary has seen the fight for the people firsthand from her seat as some senators got physical during sessions in the last year over disagreements. And she wants to set a respectful and professional tone in the legislature as they work with the new governor to open up the financial books.
There's numerous times when we receive information from the Secretary of Finance, it would list down fund accounts. There's so many fund accounts that, to me, whoever's leading that particular office, who's going to be the next Secretary of Finance, we need to have more transparent reporting.
She described the past 2 years in office as lonely, being a minority member, but she's in charge now, and her first initiative aims to address the issue of Marianas Public Lands Trust funds meant for those of Northern Marianas descent.
We have to roll up our sleeves and get to work.
Tomas Manglotnia for KUAM News on Saipan.
The 23rd CNMI House of Representatives, 20 lawmakers took office officially Monday at the same time as the gubernatorial inauguration. Representative Edmund Villagomez remains Speaker after being re-elected. Representative Joe Camacho, a fellow independent, was elected as the new Vice Speaker, and Representative Ed Probst, a Democrat, won the election for House Floor Leader. The legislators were sworn in by Associate Justice Perry Enos. The new Independent and Democrat coalition marking a renewed relationship with the executive office, with many independents throwing their support behind the Palacios-Apateng administration. With the transfer of power in the Northern Marianas complete, regional leaders weigh in on what the new leadership means for Pacific issues.
We were once one Marianas, and we continue the relationship.
The inauguration of CNMI Governor Arnold Palacios and Lieutenant Governor David Apateng Monday brought regional leaders together, centering regional issues for Micronesia. One key issue, tourism.
Even in the past, we have packages that come from the source markets of Japan, Korea, and Taiwan could also be included, both Guam and the CNMI.
The president of Palau shares a similar focus.
Looking at how we can expand air services. COVID hit us all very hard, and we've got to find ways that we can promote the region better.
The governor of Chuuk State also saying development is top of mind.
And so looking forward for a great working relationship between our governments and most especially our people, our communities.
American Samoa's delegate got on a plane right after being sworn into U.S. Congress. She says Saipan is her second home, and her family spent more than a decade on the island.
For my part, I want to do everything I possibly can to work closely with his administration and be of help from Congress.
These regional ties seemingly more critical than ever with increasing interest in the Asia-Pacific. Tomas Manglonia for KUAM News on Saipan.
Well, back here is Congressman James Moylan's first official week on the job after a marathon session by the House to finally elect a speaker. Moylan says he was busy meeting with colleagues even before being formally sworn in over the weekend and hopes his networking pays off with the committee seats he's been eyeing. Nestor Lecanto reports.
It took 15 votes to do it, but California Republican Kevin McCarthy finally overcame hard resistance from his far-right caucus members to become Speaker in the wee hours of Saturday morning in Washington.
I did the swearing in with Kevin McCarthy, and I tell you that felt wonderful. So I'm very happy and proud to be a full-fledged member of the U.S. Congress right now.
Moylan has lobbied with senior Republicans for memberships on the Armed Services, Veterans Affairs, and Homeland Security committees. The House met Monday evening in Washington to discuss its rules and committee chairmanships.
I'm happy that we have worked the relationships with these folks, and now we just got to see what's going to happen. So it's one process after another process after another process. This could have been done a lot sooner, but of course we had some delays in selecting our speaker. But now that is done, we're moving forward.
Moylan's top issues are securing supplemental security income for Guam, lobbying for higher compact impact funding, and extending H-2B foreign labor authorization for local military and private sector projects.
We're tackling it really fast. With the relationships that we have built, we're happy to say we're moving forward on these things for the island.
But the bulk of the delegates' work is on individual constituency issues, and Moylan says that's been underway since right after his election.
Yes. Constituency issues are coming in. We will be setting up our caseworkers to assign to get these things done. So we're happy to service our constituents. That's our job. We're working with the government agencies and the governor closely to make sure we can get these things moving.
For KUAM News, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
Well, don't know what to do with that real Christmas tree still sitting at your house? Get that chip off your shoulder with Forestry's tree chipping event. Mitsuki Hirayama was in Manila and shows you how this quick and environmentally friendly disposal process.
It's tree chipping time. Now that the holidays are over, it's time to put away the decorations and let your Christmas tree go. Several are already doing just that here at the Department of Agriculture's nursery in Manila. Agriculture's Forestry and Soil Resources Division is offering a free tree chipping service to safely recycle your Christmas tree. Christine Farron is the division chief.
The program was really to encourage our community to properly dispose of their green waste, refrain from burning if at all possible. And again, the reminder that burning in your backyard still requires a permit. So this was a great no permit required drop off and potentially help support native trees and take one home.
So far, her team has collected over 20 trees, putting them through the chipper. These trees shredded in seconds, turning into nutrient-rich mulch ready for anyone.
Bring a bag, bring a shovel, because we're already doing the chipping for you, but come on over. And if you've got your own bag, you can collect whatever chip we have from the Christmas trees. People keep calling for just the chip. And we're like, first come, first serve.
You can simply leave your Christmas tree on site. It's a quick and simple disposal that officials say comes without the risk of causing a wildfire. You can also trade it in for any one of these native trees.
Today we have our Ifit trees, our Gausali, and it looks like our Aubus duendis, which is more of a small shrub. It's more of a shrub, small tree. It's an understory plant.
So no more walking on pines and needles. Agriculture officials, thank you very much for dropping off your tree to their location on Dairy Road, all set up across from their Manila main office through January 18th. Mitsuki Hirayama, KUAM News.
Now for a look at your world at home. Here's a view captured along the southern drive down Route 4 in Inilahan. The Guam National Weather Service predicting Wednesday will bring some clouds in our skies, a 20% chance of rain and isolated thunderstorms.
We've made a lot of breakfasts, and along the way, we noticed something was missing. A warm cinnamon roll for breakfast, or with breakfast. A fluffy blueberry muffin from the drive-thru you're already driving through. A glazed apple fritter, which might find its way into your coffee. These are options every breakfast haver should have, and now they do. Meet the new bakery sweets at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
New year, new you, new adventures. How about a new Jeep to go along with it? It is the Start Something New sales event happening now at Cars Plus. Experience a new level of freedom and adventure in the new Jeep Gladiator. Or how about the all-new legendary Jeep Grand Cherokee L? The most awarded SUV ever now features a fresh interior design and 3 rows of seating. Call us at 671-477-7807 or visit our website at carsplusguam.com to get pre-approved online today.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
America's pastime is alive and well on Guam, and probably the man who has played such an instrumental way in making sure that the young generation appreciates baseball and plays it the right way is my good friend, Bill Bennett. Bill, Hafa and Happy New Year to you, my friend.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
All right, so let's talk about this after-school program that you have. We got a press release, and I was like, Bill, I got to get you on and talk about this because fantastic idea.
Yeah, well, we visited our first school this week, and so what it is, it's part of the community care program through the governor's office, who awarded grants to about 39 nonprofits to try to get out in the public and do public good. And of course, we were awarded a grant for, our proposal was after school, where we visit the elementary schools and we talk about certain life skills, positive choices, talk to them about taking care of their bodies and the threats of alcohol and tobacco abuse and anything that is a positive lifestyle that these kids need to think about as they, move on and get older in their life. Mm-hmm. And then part of the program is we do a hour and 15-minute sports activity of some kind. And it could be t-ball, wiffle ball, football, basketball, soccer, kickball, and the kids have fun. And of course, you've seen the pictures that we had from Maria Joe.
Got them up right now.
Oh, okay, good. So we're going to be visiting 20 schools over the next 4 months, and helping kids make some choices and as they move through their life and have fun at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Bill, what has been some of the feedback and the reaction? Because do you ever get kids that come up to you and say, like, wow, I already play baseball, or I play a completely different sport. I may play soccer, but that message really connected with me, and you really spoke to me.
Well, I was sort of surprised that I think out of the 60 kids that we touched this week so far, there's only 3 or 4 that have played baseball. I mean, we're always looking for volunteers and helpers. We would just be visiting the elementary schools. It's an hour-and-a-half program, and they come out and work with the kids and have fun. And we're always looking for life skills presenters. We have 3 in our group that have good experience in doing life skills presentations. Mm-hmm. So we're always looking for helpers. We'll never turn away helpers at all, Jason.
Absolutely.
So any parents or anybody wants to get involved and help the kids, welcome.
And what's the best way to reach you, Bill?
Probably through email at gba.guambaseball.com. And my telephone number is 483-6500. So, people contact me. And we also have other initiatives we're doing throughout the year. Mm-hmm. Right now, we're doing the high school softball girls program, and then that'll move into the younger girls, that 7, 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old girls. We already have the middle school program that's already going. So there's a lot of initiatives that people can volunteer for if they want to help promote, youth sports.
Well, obviously, we want to breed, competitive teams, and we want championships to, stay right here on the island. But of course, the larger goal is to help young people make good decisions. And Bill, you've always been a real strong proponent of that. So we thank you.
Yeah, our mission is not to turn out Major League Baseball players or even college players, but we would assist in that. We really want to help kids become good citizens and, maybe save a few lives along the way.
There you go. Bill Bennett, everybody at Guam Baseball Academy, doing fantastic work. Bill, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Jason.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Don't need a work break, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replay, and I'll be around.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
Hey, you want to order some Taco Bell?
Two grilled chicken burritos, two bold flavors. Order on the app, only at Taco Bell.
Finally tonight, your Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club shoutouts submitted on KUAM.com.
Happiest of birthday wishes on January 10 to Pia Consuelo Weisenberger. Happy birthday. We love you, Mom, Dad, and the family. Happy birthday, Pia, from all of us here at KUAM and Cold Stone Creamery. And a belated birthday wish going out to Vicky Borja, who was born on January the 7th. Happy birthday, Vicky, even if it is belated. Your friends and family are sending you all of their endearing, everlasting love, as well as your coworkers and the Tatuha Hula Fitness family. Viva Tatuha!
And happy birthday to all of you celebrating out there. That's your primetime show. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Nick Delgado. Stay safe and good night.
KUAM News Hotspot is brought to you by
Pacific Points, do more, get more, and Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
Half a day, gentlemen and ladies. What happens when a bulldog fights a horned frog? You have to figure that out for yourself because that's happening right now. But what is happening here is we are in Harmon. We are bringing you the information that you need. And I have my favorite ladies in the house. We are going to talk to Liz and Gina from Remax Simon Realty in a little bit. But this is the hot spot. Let's go.
The menu, brought to you by King's Restaurant, always open, always local, and Ruby Tuesday Guam, home of the Fresh Garden Bar.
We are going to tell you about some very unfortunate news as 3 COVID-related fatalities were reported in a week. We'll also check in with Claire Calvo. She has this week's episode of Weekly Renewal. And as I said, we always say Liz and Gina will be joining me. But for today, let's change it up. Gina and Liz will be joining me. It's all about Top Billing. Well, it is a rough start to the new year and a reminder that COVID-19 is still active in our island community as 3 more fatalities were reported in the first week of 2023, according to our friends at the Joint Information Center. The 412th fatality was at GMH. On New Year's Day, that patient was an 86-year-old man who was unvaccinated and had underlying health conditions. The 413th fatality was at GRMC 2 days later. That was a man who was 58, was vaccinated without boosters, and had underlying health conditions. And the 414th COVID-19 related fatality was at GMH. He was pronounced dead on arrival. That was a 90-year-old woman who was vaccinated without boosters. Public Health also says there have been 224 new cases of COVID-19 from better than 2,000 specimens analyzed from tests over the last week. 9 people are hospitalized with the virus. The commander-in-chief is in Mexico for the North American Leaders Summit with the presidents of Mexico and Canada. The three leaders have a lot to talk about, including migrants from Central and South America arriving at the border.
President Biden is kicking off the North American Leaders Summit, meeting one-on-one with Mexico's president. The flow of migrants is at the top of their agenda.
This is something that is not unique to the United States. It's gripping the hemisphere, and a regional challenge requires a regional solution.
Mexican President Manuel López Obrador announced his country would accept up to 30,000 migrants per month from Cuba, Nicaragua, Haiti, and Venezuela, while they await amnesty verdicts in the U.S. It follows a Biden administration policy announcement that migrants from those four countries are eligible for a 2-year work visa if they have sponsors, pass background checks, and secure an airline flight into the U.S. President Biden made his first visit to the U.S.-Mexico border since he's been at the White House over the weekend. During a stop in El Paso Sunday, Border Patrol agents told him they need help.
They need a lot of resources, and we're going to get them for them.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott met the president in El Paso and delivered a letter in which he said, "This chaos is the direct result of your failure to enforce the immigration laws that Congress enacted."
It just so happens he's 2 years and about $20 billion too late.
President Biden sent Congress an immigration reform plan 2 years ago, where it hit Republican opposition. Mexico's president says President Biden agrees on working together to address the causes of migration so people wouldn't have to leave their home countries. Skyler Henry, CBS News, the White House.
News Bites is happening now, where we tell you the latest happening around the island, so let's get right to it. A big congratulations to island son Daniel Lizama, who was just promoted to the rank of Major. Yay, for the U.S. Army. That's a really, really high rank up there. Yeah, you get the nice cluster. He's currently stationed at Eglin Air Force Base in Florida. Congratulations to you, sir. The Department of Agriculture is inviting our island community to Pedro Santos Park down in Petey on Saturday the 14th, starting at 9 in the morning and going until a little bit after lunchtime for the second annual Ag Loves Guam outreach event. It's a free event celebrating Guam's incredible natural resources from Tano to Tasi, land to sea. This Friday, our friends at Triple J, or last Friday I should say, they presented a check for $4,000 to Make-A-Wish Guam and CNMI from donations made from their employees. They had elected payroll deductions, and this is the fourth check presented since the program started in 2019. Good job by our friends at Triple J. Good people there. Tea Galleria by DFS Guam participated in Harvest House Christmas celebration donation drive as they presented Harvest House with various toys, clothes, and necessities donated by their staffers in the hopes that they would bring joy and happiness to the foster families and foster kids during the holiday season. I say that's pretty much guaranteed. Nice job. All right, a triple threat for NCIS fans is Billy Idol. Gets a star. Mo, Mo, Mo. Am I even doing that right? I look like such a dork doing that. All right, and a Real Housewife is headed to prison. I'm just happy because another rocker got a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Here you go.
Salt Lake City star Jennifer Shaw is headed to federal prison. A judge sentenced her to 6.5 years for defrauding people in a national telemarketing scam that ran for nearly a decade. Shaw apologized, acknowledging her actions have hurt innocent people. She is also required to pay $6.5 million in restitution. Another Real Housewife, Lisa Rinna, announced she's not returning to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills after 8 seasons. For the first time ever, the teams from NCIS, NCIS Hawaii, and NCIS Los Angeles are uniting for a special crossover event.
It's big stuff. We've never done a crossover with these 3 shows. It's going to be all in one night.
You're going to see NCIS, then NCIS Hawaii, and then NCIS LA. It takes 3 hours to tell this storyline.
Well, and it was a big case.
The teams converge in Washington, D.C. to celebrate a beloved professor who taught members on each of the squads. But on the eve of the celebration, he mysteriously dies, launching his former students into action to find an assassin. Catch the big event tonight at 8 on CBS or anytime on Paramount+.
Welcome to the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Billy Idol!
And British punk rock and roller Billy Idol gets a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
This is a great honor. I just can't believe it in a way. I'm a little bit, it's a bit of an out-of-body experience. Yeah, thank you, everybody, and rock on, yeah!
Idol has sold more than 40 million albums during his 47-year career, with nearly a dozen top 40 hits. He recently released 2 new EPs and is touring in Europe and Canada this year. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Billy Idol looks pretty good at his age. Okay, I just want to editorialize for like a quick second. You guys know me. I love heavy metal guitar. I've been playing guitar since I was 5 years old. If Billy Idol gets a star, what about Steve Stevens? He was in all the videos. He was like the 6-string Axeman for Billy Idol. I'm just saying, Steve Stevens, you are awesome. You deserve a star too. All right, people that definitely deserve stars are Gina and Liz. They're my favorite ladies from Remax Diamond Realty, and I am talking to them in studio. They're here. That's coming up next.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
How deep do Pizza Hut's roots run in the islands? Through all the decades, we know what you love. Great taste at an even better price. Like our large 3-topping carry-out pizza for just $13.99. You choose your favorite toppings, meat, vegetables, or any combination that totals 3. Our $13.99 large 3-topping pizza. Order online and carry one out today. Only at Pizza Hut, the island's best.
KUAM Communication is your home for star-studded entertainment from America's top networks. From specials, concerts, award shows, and can't-miss red carpet moments. It's all on KUAM TV 8 and KUAM TV 11. Check KUAM.com and our social media pages for showtimes and schedules. Network specials on KUAM Communications are brought to you locally by King's Restaurants, Ruby Tuesday Guam, and Docomo Pacific. Catch KUAM News Hotspot, a multi-platform news program broadcasting and streaming at 11 a.m. on KUAM TV 8 Tuesdays through Fridays, with rebroadcasting at 3:30 p.m., as well as live streaming globally on our Facebook Live and YouTube digital platforms. Jason Solis features a blend of local, national, and regional news, plus lifestyle and entertainment features and extended interviews with top newsmakers.
KUAM News Hotspot is brought to you by Pacific Points, Do More, Get More, and Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
KUAM News, winner of the 2022 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for the Culture Club.
All right, welcome back to the Hotspot, everybody. Let's not even mess around with it. Let's just go to the wide shot right now, because you know the beauty of 3 people that have been working together and doing an amazing segment on real estate for the last 7 years, when we're all sitting down in the KUAM couch, we're all the same height. Just let me see. If you saw the 3 of us out, a much different disparity if you saw us in real life. But Gina is over there. Liz is over here. I am so happy to see the both of you. Half a day. And Happy New Year.
Well, happy 2023.
Yeah.
It's a great start.
Welcome home, by the way, Liz.
Thank you.
Yeah, you were all over the place.
Yes, definitely. And I came back with this sore throat.
Oh, no. Well, you know, I've got some throat lozenges.
Kind of sounds a little sexy, but
there you
sore
go.
Throat.
Do you have any property that I might take a look? No. And okay, that's a completely different segment. But one thing, you know, that we were going to talk about, because we just passed the holiday season. Of course, Lent is coming up, if you want to think about it that way. Birthdays are year-round, obviously. Graduation after that. Is property ever gifted that commonly on Guam? Because I remember, you know, there's that one scene from one of my favorite movies, My Big Fat Greek Wedding. At the end, they actually give the newlywed couple a house.
You remember those kind of details,
Yeah.
guys?
Wow. I have no life. I never get out. I just sit home and watch TV. So how often does that happen on Guam? You know, and we're such a familial centric society like here on Guam. How often do you actually see people giving houses, or at least the property?
Often. Yeah. We see it often. I mean, we see it through, so there's 2 ways to receive property if it's a gift, right? Or through that mechanism. A lot of families get their properties through probate, especially if you don't plan in advance. You end up having to go to court and asking the court to give you property that essentially was meant for the family members, right?
Is that still considered a gift if you say, like, oh yeah, we're gifting you a property? By the way, the judge said it's okay.
Well, you know, we've done segments on this because
Yeah.
we really are, we try to advocate that you plan in advance. I know it's a difficult subject, but if you don't plan in advance, your family has to go to court. But any property that I receive through a court decree or through probate, those are considered sole and separate property. So it'll come, you know, let's say my family had property and we went through court, and myself and my brothers and sisters received the property through court. I now own that property as my sole and separate property because I received it through a court decree. So that's one way to get property.
Okay, so Liz, what do you see about how frequently like this is done, or do you actually see like some parents, grandparents, you know, in-laws, as I was mentioning, actually build an entire house on an empty slate of property?
Well, deeding property on Guam is pretty common. Because families here, like you said, it's a familial thing. We want to give our children property. So you could do a deed of gift. And when you do the deed of gift, it's a question of, are you giving it to your son and his wife, or are you giving it to your son alone? And when you deed it, you're deeding it for love and affection. There's no monetary exchange. So when you do deed that, then it's deeded to your son alone. So again, there's Guam is community law, community property. So normally, if it's not specified, it could be considered community property.
So it's not one of those things where just because you married into the family, you automatically get half?
Not necessarily so, and it depends on how it's deeded. So as Gina put it, if it's probated and it's given to Jason Salas, and you are married, but by court decree it was given to you, it's considered sole and separate property. But if you received something and there was no specification, then if something happened to you by community property, it would go to your spouse. It's something to really think about, because sometimes marriages fail, right? And property is deeded under both names. Then it comes how to settle that. So if it's community property, you both have, even though it was given to you, you both still have claim to it through community property.
And if divorces weren't emotionally like trying enough and everything, now you got to go to the bank, you got to go to the lawyer, possibly before a judge.
Unless your spouse decides, okay, because it was your family property, I am going to quit claim my interest, so it's yours alone. And therefore, I have no interest to it. Now, Gina and I have been doing this for years, where we deal with different cases. We are not attorneys. We're actually talking about cases we've dealt with. Yesterday, I had a couple come in, and the property was only deeded to her. But because Guam is community property, it was not considered sole and separate property. So when we sell the property, husband has to sign a spousal consent to agree it's okay to sell the property. That's the catch. You do need a spousal consent from the other party.
Here's a weird hypothetical, Gina. Do you ever see any people gift a house but not the property on which it sits? Or is everything, it's assumed everything is all inclusive?
If it's attached to the land, so...
Is that even possible?
Yeah, I mean, that's really the law. Anything attached to the land is really what you're receiving. So if nothing is attached, then you're just getting the land.
So that is the real estate?
Yeah, if you build a house, like if I built a house on your lot, that house belongs to you, Jace, because the lot belongs to you.
Unless it's leasehold. That's a different
scenario.
So I can only use it as long as you allow. I can only use that house. It doesn't matter who spent the money.
So if I married into your family, Gina, and you wanted to, like if you said, okay, I'm giving you the house, but not the land, technically I'd be your tenant, right? I wouldn't be a property owner at that point.
Well, so on the deed of gift, if I deed the property to you, and absolutely, for love and affection, there's no monetary compensation involved, right?
I feel special today.
Well, it has to say that, because if you don't say that, then it becomes a little murky, and your attorneys are going to have to help you clear that up. But I deed the property to you, and it could be between from an aunt or an uncle to nieces and nephews, a parent to a child, brothers and sisters. It's meant for family members, right? But sometimes you're going to get a deed from a friend to a friend. But if I put in there that it's for love and affection, and I'm deeding the property to you as your sole and separate property, then you own that property separately. And so it is now yours whether you're married or not, and you're spouse has no claim to it.
Okay, can we talk about finances for a second there? Because if you have sole and separate property, right? How does this affect each party in let's say a married couple, right? How does it affect each of the spouses' credit score, and as soon as they assume ownership of the property, how does it affect their tax?
We're talking about gifts.
Okay.
So credit score isn't involved because you're
That's
not
why you have to
buying
indicate
it.
love and affection.
That's correct. I mean, you're getting a gift, and I assume that gift is free, right? So there is no credit score involved. I mean, I'm not going to ask my kids. I mean, it's a great idea. Perhaps you should see how financially stable they are, because once you have that gift, that piece of real estate, you have to pay taxes. If it's a home, you have to have maintenance.
And the next tax cycle, you would be obligated to cover the property tax for that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
So that's a good question. But what I wanted to point out is Liz talked about divorce, if in the event you get a divorce. In the event you stay together and you got this deed of gift, so you have a property that is now just yours, just mine, or just yours, Jason, but the intent is that your spouse, if something happens to me, it goes to my spouse, then you need to make an effort to change that deed after Liz deeds it to me. And my intent is my husband will have co-ownership of that property. So if something happens to me, it goes to my husband. I actually need to take an extra step after I receive that deed of gift to make sure he is or she is, if it's you, Jason, you want to make sure your wife's included. So if something happens to you, your spouse doesn't have to go to court and say, well, my wife or my husband owned this as their sole and separate property, and something's happened to them, they're deceased. So I would, I'm asking for the ownership of this property. So if that's your situation where you want to make sure your spouse gets the property that you were gifted from your family member, then you need to take an extra step and put their names on the deed.
You should do a quitclaim deed. So if it's your sole and separate property, you should do the extra step, which is a quitclaim deed from Jason Salas to Jason and Mrs. Salas, and then file that with land management. Then it becomes both your properties. So it's both entities would own the property.
Yet another reason if you get married to stay married, everybody.
Yeah. Well, then it'll no longer be yours. It'll be owned by both parties.
Okay, ladies, thank you.
Check with your attorneys, check with your escrow company. This has been our experience, and we're just sharing the information.
It's a musical reminder. Let's stay together. Sing with me now. It's good and bad, happy and sad. We'll be right back.
Boy, he's got a
voice.
So
in love with you.
It only gets better with more. Customize and save with the fastest internet speeds in the Marianas by adding mobile, phone, and TV to your bundle. Business Bundles Plus. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
There's nothing better than my 2 for $6 sausage biscuits in the morning, or afternoon, or at dinner time, or around midnight, or yeah, you get the picture. Try my 2 for $6 sausage biscuits anytime you like.
Properties in the Tropics is your weekly roundup of the hottest properties on Guam. Every Thursday, get a virtual walkthrough of homes, apartments, townhomes, and land available for lease, rent, or sale, with a breakdown of the most important info, including costs, features, and of course, location details. Watch it on KUAM News Hotspot at 11 a.m. on streaming and TV8, or catch the encore at 5 p.m. on TV 11. You can also check out each installment on Instagram too. Properties in the Tropics is presented by RE/MAX Diamond Realty.
Happy New Year.
Join us this week on another episode of the hottest properties on island in Properties in the Tropics. I'm Madeline Campos.
I'm Key Song, RE/MAX Diamond Realty.
What you need to know from the Northern Marianas. Follow KUAM CNMI on Instagram for the latest regional headlines.
Did I really just sing Al Green, or at least attempt to, before the last commercial break? Yes, I did, and that's why the show is amazing. It's also live, by the way. YouTube, Facebook, KUAM TV. All right, Claire Calvo joins us now. We have this week's episode of Weekly Renewal.
Weekly Renewal is brought to you by Calvo's Select Care.
Hey, I'm Claire Calvo, bringing you
second part with Rena Calvo.
But how about feeling good? How often, rate your day. How was I feeling overall today? And when I had an upset, how quickly was I able to bounce back? That's resilience. Not that we don't have challenges in life, but how quickly I bounce back. Am I able to use my tools? Journaling, or meditating, or doing yoga, or doing something that's going to put you back to that space of equanimity. You can track that as a goal to have more emotional wellness. Work day by day, or how was I this week in following through with action that I said I was going to do. So those, it can be applicable to the emotional and the spiritual. If I want to have a deeper connection with the source, God, whatever religion or spirituality you go by, then how often am I tracking about my prayer time? The wheel of life is an assessment. But you just do a circle, and then this is your pie of life. You'd have finances, career, family, and friends. How is your relationship with family, friends, fun and recreation, physical environment, your health, mental health, I'd say mental wellness, emotional wellness, physical wellness. Kind of track that, be totally honest. Love with your significant other, and love with yourself, and other. Whatever other that's going to be for you. And then track from 1 to 5 and really sit with yourself. How satisfied am I with my finances? From 1 to 5, 1 being not satisfied, 5 being it's pretty good. I'm okay with that. And this is how you can track the specificity from looking at this and say, well, what area do I want to focus on for this first month of January? And set that up. Right? And then you can use this chart in various ways. Pick what area that you want to focus on. Be specific of what you want in that. I want to build my relationship with my mom and dad. I want to hang out more with this family member, whatever that might be, and track it. And then you can also use this to say, where am I thriving? And get into the feeling. It's more about the feeling, because when you feel like you're succeeding in everything, that can start trickling to other areas of your life. And then third, so far we got do the life review, basic coaching, SMART, and then doing the wheel of life, tracking it from 1 to 5, one very not satisfied, and that needs some help, and 5 definitely have an accountability coach or a friend that you're going to work with, and on each other to stay on track, because your willpower and discipline, because other programs are going to convince you to go back to your old habits. Habits of thought might say, I'm not good enough, I don't do a little here or there. It's like when you have an accountable partner and you're excited about that goal. And then most important, I would say, future projection. Looking from the future back. So what you would do, that goal already achieved, what is that outcome? How that goal? Work from there. Centered space, meditative space, and then you track forward. So you've already looked at the past, all the things you've accomplished. Here I am now. Track forward. What, a year from now? 5 years from now? Even just 3 months from now? Getting those gauges. And what would it be? What would it be like to experience this goal achieved? Your work life, your creative life, your relationships, and from there work it back and even have a dialogue. I would do this more in my counseling. Having a dialogue. You need to attain that goal. What were the actions that you took? What did you need to know to attain that goal?
How far ahead did you go? About a year?
I think it would be also good to track it based on what your goal. Bring in that basic form. Like
how far is
very often in coaching they'll say 5 years. Yeah.